Hey guys, what's going on today? BOJoeKO here, and welcome back to episode number 2 of the newly revamped Flyers Talk podcast, the only podcast on YouTube where we talk about the Philadelphia Flyers and everything they do and nothing else. That's pretty much it. So this is my second time trying to record this podcast here because I tried something a little bit different this time around. I tried actually streaming the podcast live via Google Hangouts, and it was working for a little bit, but unfortunately it was working for about 12 minutes or so, and then my mic just for some odd reason just cut itself out. And you know what? I decided that, live streaming is just not for me when it comes to technology nowadays. So screw it. We're just going to record, do it the old-fashioned way. But like I said, if you guys do want to see the Flyers Talk podcast be done live, obviously it won't be at like Saturday at 11 o'clock at night. I just wanted to see if I could just do it out of the blue and, try to get it done. But unfortunately, that was not the case. And, I'm not going to complain. It did work, but, it's still got a lot of kinks to work out with it. But if it is something you guys do want to see for the future, let me know, because it probably would be a hell of a lot easier to just do it live and then have it up on YouTube right away rather than going through the editing process, which doesn't really take too long to edit this thing anyway. But, just for the future, if you guys do want to see that, let me know. But other than that, let's get right into the podcast here, as we are going to talk about the entire NHL Draft weekend. We're only going to touch on a couple things that went on the draft because obviously this is the Flyers Talk podcast. You guys are here to listen about what the Flyers have been doing this weekend. But I'm just trying to get all my windows here set up so I am ready to go here. But yeah, we're going to talk about the Flyers. A lot of stuff which was happening before the draft, during the draft, and after the draft involving the Philadelphia Flyers. So Ron Hextall, before the draft even said that he was going to try his very best to move some contracts out and make some cap room for this Philadelphia Flyers team. And he did just that. Not before the draft, not during the draft, but after the draft. We'll get to that definitely. But there were a lot of trades that were happening as a whole throughout the entire draft. I mean, we saw the Milan Lucic to LA. We saw the Dougie Hamilton to the Calgary Flames. We saw Boston picking up 3 straight first-round picks in the draft. We saw the Ryan O'Reilly to Buffalo. We saw what else? Buffalo made another trade, didn't they? Yeah, we saw Ryan O'Reilly to Buffalo, and then we saw Robin Lehner to Buffalo, along with David Legwand. A lot of the trades as well. Lots of goaltenders being dealt, like guys like Cam Talbot, Anton Hudobin, Eddie Lack. Just a lot of players being dealt out in places. Antti Ranta was one of them as well. Just a lot of players being dealt to places, and their prices, too, were really undervalued, in my personal opinion. There were some teams or some GMs that were saying, like, oh, we got a first-round draft pick for this guy, or we got a second-round pick for this guy. And then they ended up going for a lot lower than what we saw. So, like I said, lots of goaltenders being dealt. We saw a lot of roster players being dealt, too, like Kyle Palmieri, like I said, Lucic, Hamilton. We saw Carl Hagelin get dealt. What else? I think that's pretty much it. The big names that were definitely up there. But yeah, other than that, let's get into the draft here. Like I said, I'm not going to touch on the whole draft as a whole. Just the draft as a whole. Just nitpicking some things here and there, but obviously Connor McDavid goes number 1, Jack Eichel number 2, and then we get into the 3, 4, 5 here, which we knew was going to be Strome, Marner, and Hanifin. Just not sure what the order was going to be. Arizona steps in, takes Strome at 3, Marner goes at number 4 to Toronto, and then Carolina Hanifin at number 5. Then we get into the real interesting aspect of the draft. Everybody knew that 1 to 5 was going to be those 5 players, but other than that, 6 through the rest of the first round was pretty much just going to be up in the air for what teams were going to take who. So as a wrap up on there, the New Jersey Devils step in. They take Pavel Zacha, which was actually a pretty good pick for them. I was talking with my one friend who is a New Jersey Devils fan. He really did like the pick. I like that pick for the Devils as well. It's a big body center, something that the Devils really do need. So I think that pick was very smart for them. Then we get to Philly. Philly sits there at number 7. And you have options. Let me tell you, you have some options to take here. The top guy on the board currently is Ivan Provorov. Now, Ron Hextall has said that he wanted to go after a winger at some point in the draft, whether it's at number 7 or whether it's the late first-round pick that we still have at 29. When you have a guy like Ivan Provorov sitting up there, it's really going to be hard to pass him up. As for offensive guys to take, you have Timo Meier up there, you have Mikko Rantanen, you have Lawson Krause still sitting up there to be taken at number 7. But Ron Hextall elects not to do that, and he takes the smart decision and drafts at number 7 from the Brandon Wheat Kings defenseman Ivan Provorov. So there we go, boys. We get the huge, well, not, I shouldn't say huge. We get the one of the best, the second best defensive prospect in the draft at number 7 at Ivan Provorov. And holy crap, is our defensive prospects stacked right now. So I'm here on Elite Prospects. Let me guys give you the scouting report here on Ivan Provorov. So he is 6'1", 201 from Yugoslavia, Russia. So we have a Russian defenseman, the first Russian defenseman taken by the Philadelphia Flyers ever in a draft, first round pick ever. So I actually have a ad playing in my ear, and I don't want to listen to that at all. So here's the scouting report on him. An offensively gifted defenseman who can direct the game's pace when the puck is on his stick. Provorov is a quick and agile skater with an accurate release on his shot, which he can get off anywhere below the blue line. Creates many chances on the power play and can even create offense during the penalty kill. Is an ad riot, which is apparently a word, I have no idea what that means, and creative passer who knows how to use his teammates well. All in all, a complete defenseman who knows how goals are scored and executes accordingly. Fine by me, man. Ivan Provorov now gets added to the list of fantastic Flyers defensive prospects waiting in the wing. He gets added to the list of Sam Morin, Robert Hagg, Travis Sanheim, and Shane Gostisbehere. Holy mother effing hell, is our defense going to be good 2 to 3 years down the line? That's the most I see these guys affecting us, if not sooner, if it weren't for a certain trade at the end of the draft, which I will get to later on in the podcast. But man, am I excited for these defensemen of the future right now. We might have, it's debatable, but honestly, I think the Philadelphia Flyers have the best defensive prospects in the entire NHL right now, and could possibly have one of the best defenses of the future sitting right there in front of them, with those 5 defensive prospects right there. Maybe 4, maybe if you leave Hagg off the list, but Morin, Sanheim, Provorov, and Gostisbehere are going to be really something special that the Flyers are going to be looking forward to. So with that out of the way, I think it's a great pick. It was a smart pick, and our defense just gets better. And then if we go over through some of the other picks in this draft, like I said, Werenski gets picked at number 8 by Columbus. Meier, which was, I thought, an interesting pick by San Jose at number 9. Colorado takes Rantanen at 10. Krause slips all the way down to 11, so he gets taken by Florida. Gurianov gets taken by Dallas. I thought that was interesting. I don't know if he was rated that high or not, but Dallas always seems to take some weird picks. And then we get to the weirdness of the Boston Bruins. You know, I thought I was thinking to myself after they made all those trades, I'm thinking, like, there's no way Boston is going to take take a player with all 3 of those picks. They're definitely going to try to move up or move one of those picks, right? Nope. They take Zaboral, DeBrusk, and Senyshyn from with all 3 of those picks. They take all 3 of them. I don't know what's up with them, man. If there's any Boston Bruins fans that listen to this podcast, let me know what's up with them, because I have no idea why they took those picks. Anyway, the Islanders, once again, they go in for the steal. They trade 2 of their picks to Edmonton. Well, actually, they traded for that pick from Edmonton for... They bump in there at number 16 to take Matthew Barzal, which I think was a really good pick. Kyle Connor gets taken at 17 for Winnipeg, which was a good pick as well. Thomas Chabot gets chosen by Ottawa. Evgeny Svechnikov, I don't even know. Svechnikov gets taken by Detroit. Joel Eriksson Ek by Minnesota at 20. Ottawa gets Buffalo's pick at 21. They take Colin White. Ilya Samsonov, a goaltender, gets taken by Washington at 22. Vancouver takes Brock Boeser at 23. And then we get to 24, currently sitting for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Apparently, the Maple Leafs wanted to really stock up on draft picks this year. They wanted to get quantity over quality. So what they elected to do was, apparently there was a certain player that was really slipping through the rankings right there that none of the GMs or teams were picking up on. Philly did not waste any time. Philly goes ahead and jumps up to 24 from 29. So we give Toronto our 29th and we give them the 61st, which I think is the first pick of the third round. So we jump in there from 29 to 24. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my God, there's this one guy who's really slipping off that none of the teams are picking. I'm like, oh my God, Philly, please take this guy. What do? They end up drafting from the Ottawa 67s, center Travis Konecny, who slipped so far in this draft. Konecny slipped really far in this draft, all the way down to 24, and Philly just steps in. Ron Hextall makes the decision, do not fuck with this guy at all. Ron Hextall steps in there and takes Travis Konecny, who I believe was the 14th best skater in this entire draft, and he gets taken at 24th by Philly. So a center, 5'10", 176 pounds, center / right winger, which is probably what he's going to be transitioned to, is a right winger. So a talent, here's the scouting report on him. A talented scoring forward that can play either as a center or on the wing. Plays with the bite and intensity of a guy who is willing to do anything to win a game. Possesses dynamic skating ability that allows him to accelerate repeatedly with each step. Incredible hockey senses and electrifying puck handling skills and a lightning release on his shot. When you put the skill set together with hard-nosed determination, proactiveness, and in all three zones, and a physical willingness to grind and persevere, you get a game changer who can be extremely difficult to play against. I like that. I like that a lot. And like I said, his second cousin is Bo Horvat, so that's probably why the Canucks fans were losing their mind when Boeser got drafted and they didn't take Konecny. But I think this guy will really fit out well. There's your two picks. There's those two choices that I believe Ron Hextall wanted to get. He was either going to take a forward with the 7th pick and then going to wait for the best available defenseman at 29, I guess, or maybe he was going to move up. But in this case, he takes the best available defenseman at 7 and moves up for Konecny at 24. So very good choices, very good picks by the Philadelphia Flyers in the first round. Very happy with these two draft picks. And honestly, Konecny becomes one of the best offensive prospects that the Flyers have too, forward-wise. Other than Scott Laughton and Nick Cousins, I would assume this is probably one of your better, maybe even tied with Scott Laughton for the best offensive prospect that we have down there right now. So I'm happy with that. All right, so we move on. Just moving on for the rest of the first round. Roslovic from Winnipeg goes to Winnipeg. Juleson to Montreal. Jacob Larson to Anaheim. Beauvillier to the New York Islanders, again, who stepped in. Gabriel Carlson to Columbus. And Nicholas Merkley to Arizona. Okay, so that wraps up the first round for the Philadelphia Flyers. Very happy with that. They don't have another pick until the third round, where they have two picks at number 70 at number 90. So the 70th overall pick, which was originally San Jose's pick, I believe this was the pick that was acquired in the Ty McGinn trade. So I believe that the Flyers did get a third round pick for Ty McGinn when they traded him to the San Jose Sharks. And I believe that was their pick. And then obviously the third round pick at number 90 used to belong to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Obviously that was the third round pick in the Braden Coburn trade, along with Radko Gudas in that as well. So with the 70th pick in the NHL draft of the third round, the Flyers take a go all-out goaltender mode here in the third round. So the first guy they pick up is Felix Sandstrom, or as many of the Flyers players were calling him. They were calling him the new Darude Sandstrom. So they pick him up. He's a goaltender from getting his stats up right here. So a Swedish goaltender from, where was he from? I think he's from Brynäs, right? Yeah, he is from Brynäs. There's no scouting report on him really. All right, so we'll grab the one from the Flyers website here. So 70th overall from Brynäs Junior, Swedish goaltender, 6'2", 191 goaltender from Brynäs in Sweden. So Sandstrom was the third ranked among all European goaltenders on the NHL Scouting's final rankings. He recorded 2.63 goals against average and a .907 save percentage of 14 appearances for his junior team. He also appeared in the Swedish Super Elite Pro League for Brynäs, posting a 1.09 goals against average and a .963 save percentage in 55 minutes of action, which is pretty good for that. His international experience to play for World Juniors and Under-18 Championship, and that's about it. So that's all we know about Felix Sandstrom right now. You know what? It's very smart for the Flyers to stock up on goaltender prospects here, because other than Anthony Stolarz, there is none in the system, and Anthony Stolarz right now has been pretty much a hit and a miss for the Philadelphia Flyers. But once again, it's really kind of too early to judge Stolarz just of yet, because that was his first year in the AHL. He did not have the greatest record or stats, but give it a couple years to really evaluate him further. So he's obviously still got a long way to go, and the Flyers are not taking chances here. Obviously, with Steve Mason being the starter, there needs to be either a new starter in the future or a backup in the very, very near future for in this system to back him up. So they take a prospect, they take a goaltender there in Felix Sandstrom, and then with the 90th overall pick from the Tampa Bay Lightning, I really like this pick. No surprise here that they take this guy. They take Matej. I have no idea how to say this name. I've seen it in the NHL for so long. Matej. I think it's Matej Tomek. So they take Matej Tomek from Slovakia as the 30th overall, the 90th overall pick in the third round. 6'2", 180 pounds. Not really too big, but as we get through the description here, there's going to be no surprise why this guy was taken by the Flyers. So Tomek won 7 of his first 8 outings with the Roadrunners in 1450, a stretch that included 4 of his 6 shutouts en route to a 24-7-2 record in 33 games and North American Hockey League Goaltender of the Year honors. He was among the league leaders in goals against average, second with a 1.82, shutouts tied for second with 6, save percentage fifth with a .928, and wins tied for fifth with 24 as a 17-year-old goaltender. He represented Slovakia at the 2014 Under-18 World Championships. Victory, 28 subs, and a 4-1 win over Germany. Tomek, and here's the kicker why he got drafted by the Flyers. Tomek has committed to the University of North Dakota for the fall of 2015. Why does that university sound familiar? Oh yeah, our new head coach was from the University of North Dakota, Dave Hextall. So you can thank Dave Hextall here for drafting this guy, Matej Tomek, another goaltender. So our third round was goaltender heavy, and honestly, I have no problems with that. Hopefully, these two guys can really pan out to where they were. And if Dave Hextall has some experience of recruiting this guy, there will be hopefully something good in the future for this guy. Taking 2 goaltenders in the third round, fill up the prospects. Very happy with those 2 decisions as well. Now we get into the fourth round here at 98th overall. I believe, did we trade this pick for LA? I forget. Was this the LA trade or was that the okay, that was the later fourth round one. So we moved back, I believe, earlier. I think we had 98, and I think we have 2 really close picks in the fourth round, but I think we moved back in that pick. But at 98th overall, we take Samuel Dove McFalls. Like I said, I remember seeing his name a couple times, and obviously in the NHL game. But other than that, he was from the St. John Sea Dogs, 6'2", 207, a center/left winger. He recorded 14 goals and 20 assists and 34 points in 66 games for St. John's in his second season in the QMJHL. He led the entire team in shots, plus 12 rating, which was ranked for 4th best on the team. So there you go, a winger. So let me see if there's going to be an elite prospects thing for Dove McFalls. Let's see, Samuel Dove McFalls. Let's see, Samuel Dove McFalls on Elite Prospects. Yep, let's see if there's going to be a description for him or not. Usually they give descriptions for the forwards. They usually don't give them for the goaltenders. Oh, never mind. What do I know? Okay, never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. So there you go. His stats look decent, to be honest. So just another forward to put down there, another center slash winger forward. So fine with that. And then for our which was, who was that? I really should go to my Twitter too, because I retweeted a lot of these things as well. Let's go to my Twitter here. And let's close that out. Let's go back to the Flyers picks here as we move down to the 104 pick here, as we traded back with the LA Kings. And at number 104th overall, we take Mikhail Vorobiev, I believe. Is that his name? Is that how you say his name? I should say. Mikhail Vorobiev. So a 6'2", 198-pounder from Russia. 39 games for Toplar's first season. He recorded post 8 goals and 20 points, plus 8. 3 goals in 8 playoff games, under 18 World Championships, and 1 goal and 3 assists in 5 games. So there you go. Just another Russian forward to add to the list there. I really don't think he was anything, because I don't think he was anything too special. But let me just go through my list here just to make sure. Let's see. Yeah, we had 98 and 99. We traded back with the LA Kings. So yeah, just another center there. There was nothing really too in-depth we can look about this guy. But like I said, if you guys know more than I do, make sure to leave it in the comments down below. I like our 5th round pick. This 5th round pick was actually pretty good here. For our 128th overall, we take another damn European. We take a Czechoslovakian forward in David Case. So Case was part of Chumatov's championship team in the Czech Republic, secondly, 14 points in 30 games. He also skated for the junior team, 14-15, 15 points, 7 goals, 8 assists in 8 regular season games, 12 points in postseason. International experience, under 18 World Championship again. Junior thing, his brother was drafted by Anaheim in 14, and his father some things for the junior team as well. But I looked up this guy. He was actually a highly rated forward. He was supposed to go in the David Case. Yeah, so he was supposed to go in the I think the late 3rd round. They pick him up in the 5th, so it was a pretty good deal for that. Okay, so we move on from him. They take at number 158. They take Cooper Marady, another right-wing center. This guy was from Sioux Falls. He's an American, so he was committed to playing at the University of Michigan for the 15-16 season. So another college guy. 19 goals, 28 assists for 47 points in 37 regular season games, playing in the USHL. And he recorded more points in his first 2 seasons combined. So there you go. We drafted an American. And as I said on here, ISS Hockey has right-wing Cooper Marady, number 38, ranked in the draft. And the Flyers took him in the 6th round. So he was supposed to go late 3rd, and he goes all the way in the 6th. So nice job there, Philly. And I believe there's one more left. Yeah, there was one more left. Finally, another goaltender, another Russian, Ivan Fedotov, 7th rounder, 188th overall. In 41 games played in his first season of junior hockey, he recorded 1.95 goals against average, saves percentage of .911. He also appeared in 1 professional KHL games for, I'm not even going to attempt to say that. He was also named goaltender in the month for November in the MHL, which is the Russian Junior League. So another goaltender. So basically what the Flyers took was they took Konechny, who was a Canadian, and I'm pretty sure other than Dove McFalls, they were the only 2 Canadians taken. Marady was the only American, and then we just decided to stock up on Russians, Slovakians, and Czechs for the rest of the draft. So holy European Batman, as the Flyers just went ham with European players this year in the draft. So they might be taking a book out of Detroit's, maybe taking a page out of Detroit's book and going full European in this draft, taking up those European scouts. So honestly, I'm really happy for it. They picked up their goaltending prospects that they needed in the 3rd round. They got a solid defenseman in Provorov. They picked up a nice future forward there in Konechny, and then we'll have to see what happens out with those other players as well. So that concludes the Philadelphia Flyers draft, right? Ron Hextall had one final surprise up his sleeve after the draft was over. Flyers have been known to make some moves once the draft is over. And man, oh man, did he have one hell of a surprise up his sleeve for us. So let me see if I can get that. Let me see if I can get this thing up here in my mentions up on Twitter, because I'm delaying it now because it was really exciting. I'm not gonna lie, as there was a trade made. Ron Hextall promised that he was going to move some cap, and man, oh man, did he ever move cap whatsoever. The Flyers made a trade with the Arizona Coyotes, sending over Nicholas Grossman and Chris Pronger's contract. You heard me right. They traded away Nicholas Grossman and the contract of defenseman Chris Pronger for Sam Gagner and a conditional 4th-round draft choice in 2016 or a 3rd-round draft choice in 2017. Mind fucked. How the living hell did Ron Hextall pull this one off? I have no idea. Do not fuck with this man. This guy is a goddamn wizard. Not only did he move up to take Konechny, not only did he draft a stud of a defenseman, not only did he fill the prospect pool up with more goaltenders and a lot of European players, and he wants to rebuild through the draft. He solved the cap problem that was put in place by Paul Holmgren. He just freed up in one trade almost a possible $8 million worth of cap. So Nicholas Grossman gets dealt, and Chris Pronger's contract gets dealt. We take on the cap of Sam Gagner, which was like $3 million, I believe, and we get a 4th-round pick in return for that. Absolutely nuts. I don't know what the hell. I don't know how it went through. And basically, what the issue was, they moved that. The reason the Coyotes made that trade with them is because the Coyotes were basically under cap. They were going to be in a little bit of a conundrum if they didn't have certain players to fill out their roster, and they would have been severely under the cap. They would have had to go like signing free agent frenzy. They would have had to go signing players in free agency like crazy to be under the cap, and then you had the possibility of those certain players in free agency not going to Arizona because it's Arizona. So they made a trade with Philly. We gave away Pronger, who's probably not going to play a game anymore. And obviously, I'm looking up Frank Zaravelli's tweets right here. It says the perfect contract for the Coyotes. They are far from the cap floor. Pronger is only due $500K each in the next 2 seasons, and his cap hit is nearly $5 million. So so that's one of the reasons there. Nicholas Grossman, I think, had a $4 million cap hit as well. But here's the good thing about this trade. Now, I believe Ron Hextall said he's going to be talking to Dave Hextall unless Hextall has faith that he can maybe turn Sam Gagner's game around, because Sam Gagner is not that old, man. He's like 25 years old. That's still not bad as a winger. He played the wing in Arizona. He's a center/winger, so he could play the wing. I don't think he's a first-line forward at all. I think he would more be suited for the 3rd line. Hell, he could take Matt Reed's spot, for God's sakes, but he's not a bad little player. But the reasoning I think Ron Hextall wanted to make that trade is because I think he plans on buying out Sam Gagner. Hextall won't commit to keeping him, as it says. It's a cap deal that works for both teams. This doesn't get us out of trouble, but it gets us moving in the right direction. So, like I said, if the Flyers do end up buying out Sam Gagner, as proposed, they would have essentially moved Chris Pronger's contract, which is going to be $4.9 million, plus Nicholas Grossman's contract, 3.5. Okay, I'm sorry, I thought it was over that, but 3.5 million for a $633K buyout hit for the next 2 years. It's mind-boggling. It's literally mind-boggling how he managed to get that freaking done. And also, it does seem here that the Flyers retained some salary of Grossman's 3.5 hit. It's I think it's $500,000. So that's not too bad at all. So they lower his contract from 3.5 to $3 million. So that's not too bad. And if you buy out Gagne, you're only going to hit a buyout penalty of like 1.1. Obviously, still dealing with the Danny Briere and Ilya Brizgalov situation. But other than that, the problem with them buying out Gagne too is they're going to be impacting the Tampa Bay Lightning's salary cap, and says then the NHL approved the trade, and like I said, I'm still reading just Frank Zaravelli's tweets. He says that means if the Flyers buy out Gagne, which is expected, he will be on Tampa Bay's Lightning's cap for 2 years instead of 1. Tampa Bay has no say too, which is it's pretty funny. Tampa Bay doesn't even get a say in that. So we could screw the Tampa Bay Lightning over a little bit as well, which is going to be pretty funny if that happens. But apparently, that's how it's going to happen. Apparently, Sam Gagner might get bought out by the Philadelphia Flyers, and honestly, that's going to really remove a lot of cap room. And a lot of Toronto fans were saying Philly might have almost $8 million worth of cap room available. Phil Kessel has a cap hit of $8 million. You never know, boys. I don't want Kessel, to be honest. I'd rather not take Kessel. I'd rather keep the salary cap where it is right now. I'd rather be $8 million in the hole and just use our players rather than just doing the same thing that Paul Holmgren would have done, just filling it up with players we really don't need. Other than that, I really do think the way that Ron Hextall is doing this is just magical, man. So, man, what a crazy weekend for the Philadelphia Flyers. And honestly, I think every Philadelphia Flyers fan is falling more in love with Ron Hextall. So I believe he did have a say in the pick last year. I can't remember. Was he the GM last year? I really do think he was the general manager last year of when we drafted Travis Sanheim 17th. So I'm pretty sure he did have a say in that. If he didn't, fault me on that. But Travis Sanheim was picked last year, and he's turning out to be a stud of an offensive defenseman. And we're gonna be getting another. Like I said, I'm just bewildered from everything that happened this week. Our defensive prospects got better, which I didn't even think was possible. We picked up a solid forward, got goaltending prospects, and we made cap room and still have the possibility to make even more cap room and have a lot of stuff available for free agency. And the thing is, I don't even think Ron Hextall's done. We still have Vinny LeCavalier on this roster. We still have Luke Shen and Andy McDonald's contracts still on here as well. And I know Ron Hextall probably wants to move them eventually. But we have a lot of cap room available, which means Michael Del Zotto could possibly be re-signed, which I do think is his plan. I think you probably should throw an extension over to Jacob Voracek, which would not be a bad idea. You could maybe extend another player if you want to right now. But right now, sign Ryan White too, because I think he's an unrestricted free agent or a restricted free agent. But still, sign a couple of those fourth line guys. Van de Velde too, I think, is a free agent as well. But sign your depth forwards that were really good, and use that money to extend some of the players that you want to have locked up for future years. So honestly, I'm very happy with Ron Hextall has done. I'm very happy he is now my newest general manager. And you know what? He brought in some craziness that Paul Holmgren has brought to the draft in the past. He didn't make anything crazy at the draft. I mean, he moved up, yeah, and he picked smart. But it was after the draft that he just blew the entire hockey world out of the water, just freeing up almost $8 million of cap room in one single solitary trade. Greatness. So that is going to be it, guys. Let me know your opinions on the Philadelphia Flyers draft as a whole, all their prospects. If you have inside information that I do not have, that I didn't say on all those prospects, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, remember, guys, to leave in the comment section down below if you do want to see this podcast go live again. Like I said, I think it was just a equipment malfunction why my mic cut out the first time I tried this, but if that is something you guys want to see in the future, let me know in the comment section down below, and I can hopefully make that a reality. So, other than that, guys, thanks for listening once again to our Flyers Talk podcast. We probably will not have another one unless maybe halfway through free agency we'll do like a kind of recap. Hold on, I need to take a drink. Maybe we'll do like a little recap of free agency and what happens in there. So, maybe halfway through free agency we'll cover some stuff unless something crazy again happens, and then we'll maybe like commit a full episode to it. But I still do kind of like these long episodes where we do have like multiple topics to talk about, and things like that. So honestly, very happy with the draft, very happy with the trade, and I'm excited to see what other tricks Ron Hextall has up his sleeve for the free agency period of this NHL season. So thanks for listening, guys. Leave a like, comment, subscribe as always, and we'll see you guys next time for another episode of Flyers Talk. Make sure to use the hashtag Flyers Talk, guys. I forgot to post questions this time to answer, but I'll definitely make sure to do that last time because I was too busy on trying to plan out the live, making this podcast go live, that I was focused on, forgot to ask the question. So I'll make it up to you guys somehow. But like I said, let me know if you guys want to see this podcast go live. Other than that, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.